anytime in the next 15 seconds. Go.
Hello and welcome back to another video. Got a bit of a different one this time. I've got some footage from an XCC race that was hosted by Highlands Trails at Welby in the Southern Highlands last week. XCC is kind of a short track cross-country race, so a short loop. This one was, I think, 900-ish meters long, and either they give you a set amount of times, often 20 minutes, and you just race flat out. Whoever can do the most amount of laps crosses the line first in that 20 minutes wins. In this case, we did just 10 laps, which worked out to be almost 20 minutes as well anyway. Kind of like a crit race on the road. You just go flat out, but for this course at least, most of it was single track with some sections of fire trail, so you can overtake. I was working pretty hard for the entire race, and there was a good competitive feel. There was a couple of us off the front who were together almost the entire way, and it came down to a bit of a sprint finish at the end, so we'll see how that pans out. I'll play the footage. I might fast forward some bits where it's not so exciting. We are riding the same lap 10 times, and then I'll also jump back in here and there and give some commentary, give a bit of insight into how I was feeling and what was going on in the race. Enjoy!
Yeah.
Now, I was hoping to overlay some data from my Garmin to give you a bit of an insight into how hard we're working, or at least myself, as we ride this race. Unfortunately, the software was a bit finicky and it wasn't lining up properly, and I didn't want to put on dodgy data, so I'll put up the lap count and also a timer so you can kind of see lap times, and I'll put the lap times up as well so you can see when we're doing faster laps. But anyway, bit of an insight based off the data. We were kind of averaging mid to high 20s, 20 kilometers per hour for the race, jumping up to over 30 k's in some sections, and then probably at the slowest on some of the corners down to kind of a bit below 20, but pretty high speed for mountain biking at least, and super high heart rate for me. I was working pretty hard. My Garmin watch told me that post-race I had a new max cycling heart rate, so definitely wasn't an easy one. Just jumping back in here as we head out onto the fourth lap, I decided to make a move and jump around Scott over the start-finish stretch. He'd laid down a pretty hot pace for the first few laps, but I was thinking I was feeling okay, but I was still working pretty hard, and I thought maybe I'll test the fellas and I'll go around and I'll push and see if I can create a bit of a gap. I'll push off for a couple of laps and see what happens. Otherwise, I knew that kind of being in the front was the best position coming into the end anyway, so even though this was an early move, I thought if I could just hold the front position, even if I didn't create a gap, then that would be good as well. And being on the front, at least with single track like this and only limited overtaking positions, you kind of get to dictate the pace a little bit, so you can take a bit of control of the race. So that was my thinking here. Oh, come on. So as I'm on the front here, probably a good opportunity to give a bit of a course breakdown. So I'm coming into the start-finish chute here, which is just this section of fire trail. It's kind of 100 metres or so long. It's just been, I think it was freshly graded or cleared recently, so it runs really well. And then at the end of that, you duck off left into this single track. You don't want to lose your line there and run into either of those rocks. That's a pretty high-speed section coming off the back of that fire trail. Then little climb here on the single track, weaving back and forth through a few turns. When I say climb, it's like a metre of elevation change probably. And then you come across the road here, which is another section where you can overtake potentially if you've got the power. It's only a short section, but the opportunity's there, as you might see soon. Then we come through into more single track and down around the little dam here. So little downhill section around the dam, a little loose and rocky here as we make this left-hand turn. I was being a bit cautious, just playing it safe, and then you ducked across that little wet patch, which is a little slippery as well. Then you're up into kind of what I describe as the main climb, which once again, elevation change of maybe a metre or two across the ascent, but you did notice it, and that seemed to be a key section of this lap where the power got put down and gaps were tried to be, people were trying to create gaps in that section. Then you duck around the right through those tight trees, beautiful stretch here, nice sun through the trees, beautiful evening to be out riding bikes, and then ducking down out of the single track, this high speed left, a nice inside line that was pretty grippy. You didn't really need to slow down, then you could just hook round and put the power down to the start finish. Riders coming through when you can. Go on your right up here. You got room? Yeah, three of us. Great job, killing it. Bit of a funny one here when I say there's three of us coming through to get past this rider. I initially just said rider coming through on your right, if you get some space, whatever. And then behind me, Richard or Scott said, there's three of us. And that was my first, since going off the front a few laps earlier, that was because I wasn't looking back and I didn't really know. That was my first indication that they were right on my wheel. So it was a bit of I'd been working pretty hard and I obviously hadn't created any gap. So I was like, I had to reassess a bit after hearing that. And I knew that there might be some attacks coming up.
hard as when you can. Whenever you get time, it's all good. Three of us, there's three of us. Let's just up the bike right there. Awesome job. We'll go on your right. There's three of us. Go through your right. We'll go on your right in the next section. Three of us, I think. Here you go, we'll go on your right. Good stuff, coming through. Great job. Guys coming through. On your right, Matt. Great work.
So with 3 laps to go, Scott made a really nice move here across the road and jumped in front. Not much room to do it, but he executed it perfectly. And then from there, you'll see I think his plan was to attack on the little climb, the minor ascent, and really push the pace, which he did, and I just managed to hang on, as you'll see. But yeah, good move here. Could have changed the outcome. It made for some exciting racing.
Couple overs if you can. One more coming. Oh my God. One more if you can, really. Great job, and I think maybe another.
So coming into this last lap, I'd been working pretty hard just to hold Scott's wheel, especially as he was putting the power down up that sliding climb off the back of the dam. But I knew going into the last lap, I really wanted that front position. Even if they just jumped in right on my wheel, I knew that if I could hold it for that last lap down to the final corner on the fire trail, that I'd really be in with a good shot to just put some power down and sprint off and get across first. So I jumped around Scott at the line here, but once again, I wasn't looking back, so I didn't know whether he tacked straight on my wheel or Richard was right there. So I was really just absolutely hammering this last lap without knowing who was behind me. And till this point, when we went round this guy and Richard said, "Yep, coming," so I knew that he was right behind, but I didn't know how far back he was. It was super quiet, so I didn't know whether he was a metre back right on my wheel, 5 metres back. So I was a bit nervous going into the final sprint off the final corner, but we'll see how that pans out.
Oh. God, I thought I was going to blow a chain ring down there. Oh yeah, good racing.
Alright, some great racing, pretty hard work, as you can tell by the lungfuls of air that I've been trying to suck in this footage. Really good high intensity riding, great to have a competitive race where it could go any way and you have to be a bit tactical about where you work hard and where you make moves, so really fun and really great to race with a good crew. And thanks as always to Highlands Trails for putting on an unreal event. The team who run Highlands Trails put in a lot of work to get these events off the ground and get them running smoothly, and also create a super inviting and friendly atmosphere where everyone can ride regardless of your level and you can have fun and engage with other riders. I encourage anyone who's watching in the Shoalhaven or Southern Highlands area to jump on the Highlands Trails website, come down to an event. Super well run, super inviting. I've been riding with them, doing their events for probably the past 6 months, and it's been a great time. Some really lovely people involved, and no better way to support mountain biking than get out and support your local club. So wherever you are, get down, have a race. That's it for the race footage. I did do a bit of a cool down, one of those things, lap on some other parts of the Welby trails, which had some dusky light and a bit of adrenaline, and post-race high from me resulted in a bit of rambling about how good mountain biking is and how good local clubs are. It's kind of what I've just said, but less concise if that's possible. So feel free to stick around and enjoy that. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!
Wow. Little cool down loop. I think the low light's gonna really cause some issues here for the footage, but thought we'd have a little chat about our little XCC hit out there. Unreal, brutal, new max cycling heart rate recorded apparently of 188 BPM. Which definitely felt like I was pushing pretty hard. The fellas were working. Great little course, some good competition. What more could you want on a Friday evening? Beautiful evening too, lovely weather. Shout out to the Highlands Trails crew, Adam, Hannah, Megan, everyone involved, getting the trail ready. So good to be, there's nothing better than club racing in my opinion. It's just good times. And I feel like at the end of the day, that's what mountain biking's about. It's just coming down, riding, having fun. You know, so good to see so many kids out as well. It's the kind of ride you do and you go, yeah, that's why mountain biking is so good, you know. Always makes me feel very grateful that I'm able to get out and ride my bike and have fun doing it, and that there's people who love doing that as well, and subsequently great events that can enter in. So I encourage everyone watching, might not be many people doing that, but get out, support your local clubs. That's one of the best things I think you can do on a bike. All that support just feeds back into the trails and back into growing the riding community, and then everyone benefits, you know. How good. Now, losing light a little here, so I reckon this GoPro footage will probably look super grainy, but I thought I'd do at least a little half lap, if not a full lap, Just a bit of a cool down. Oh, wahoo! Let's go the log ride. Into nose manual. Oh my god, the rocks at the bottom. Oh man, mountain biking's good, hey? Dreamy. Although testing tonight, whereby the testing was me putting a new chain on this afternoon, taking off my old very worn chain, made it pretty evident that my cassette was probably pretty kaput because it was skipping quite a lot underpowered during that race. So looks like there's a new cassette in order. But to be honest, with the way I've ridden this bike, oh my gosh, oh my god, there you go. Let's not break the chain. Now that, my friends, was some very poor shifting etiquette. As a outdoor educator who runs mountain bike sessions and tells countless children to shift, look ahead and shift before you need to, I did not follow my own advice there. Anyway, long story short, need a new cassette. So I was umming and ahhing about going to nationals this coming week, which, depending on when I put this video out, either will be probably the week that this comes out, or it might have been a month ago or 2 months ago, who knows with me. Anyway, I was umming and ahhing. One of the reasons I didn't pull the trigger was because I was unsure whether I've had some bike issues recently, derailleur, just typical Liam stuff. Anyway, I was unsure whether I'd get it working. Didn't know whether a new chain would solve my problems. It has not. It has just identified further problems, being what I think is a worn cassette. So maybe it's for the best I didn't enter nationals, because don't know whether I would have gotten a cassette in time and yada yada yada. Maybe it's just a cop out. But anyway, I think there's going to be some ripper racing up at the nationals, some pretty stacked fields. I'm almost tempted to just go and spectate, but do some trackside. I'd be way too embarrassed to do that. But yeah, good luck to all the local club athletes. Oh my goodness, it's a little dark, but that section rips. Good luck to all the local club athletes who are heading out to, oh my god, let's go this way, who are heading out to ride, or up to ride at a wobber, I think, this week. Should be unreal. I'm keen this year. I'm real keen to, oh goodness, it's a lovely evening. I love riding bikes. I'm real keen to ride more different locations, whether that be racing or just going on trips. Potentially thinking about fitting out my car with a bit of a camping setup, so I can go and stay in places a little more easily. We'll see how we go. Oh, bug in the eye. But yeah, God. Anyway, I should probably stop bumping my gums. Probably stop recording. This is plenty of unneeded footage. Just gonna do a bit of
trail maintenance here. This rock, don't know whether you can see it. I think I got flicked into that position after the first lap, the XCC. Surprisingly, no one hit it. A few close calls, but everyone managed to come out unscathed, which is a great result. But God, I was worried there might be a few people get taken out by that. All right, I think I'm going to stop recording. Oh, motorbike revving, love that. I think I'm going to stop recording because, oh, that tree was tight. I'm now riding, God, I cannot follow one train of thought through to the end. I'm now riding the XCC course a little bit of it in reverse, in fact. How exciting for everyone. Might turn the GoPro off because I don't think any of this footage is going to be good because it's going to be real grainy because it's low light. GoPro is not so great in low light, and normally when I'm editing I can't bother to make it look better, so I'll stop for now. I think I was hoping to make this a little 30-second wrap-up spiel of the XCC race. I've now been recording for probably almost 10 minutes. So that's pretty good for me, 30 seconds to 10 minutes. Nice, Liam. Very concise, as always. Anyway, long story short, Highlands Trails, unreal as always. Get around your local clubs, get out and ride your bikes, have fun. Yeah, ride bikes. How good is mountain biking? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Swallow bug.